Hey everyone, Mia here again. So today we're going to talk about business bad habits. We all have them, right? And what bad habits to stop doing. Okay, so if you've been in business for more than a few weeks, you've probably picked up some bad business habits. Every business has them, and they can cause damage to our well-being, our sanity, our profits, unless we root them out. So what is a bad business habit? What makes them bad? And what can we do about them? In this video, I'll share everything you need to know. Let's get started. Okay, so before I dig into business bad habits, I actually want to tell you kind of a story so you can kind of get yourself in the headspace of why we do bad habits as people. So my 8-year-old son we figured out he has an amazing voice. And so we got him in voice lessons. And so because he's younger, I actually go and attend his voice lessons. And I was not blessed with a voice, so I live vicariously through him. But it was interesting as he was doing these, as the teacher was kind of testing his skills and what he could do, the teacher, she started smiling. She got really excited and she's like, "You haven't developed a lot of the bad habits that I've seen other people do." And she's like, "In fact, you're the second student I've ever taught that I'm not going to have to correct this thing with." And I wish I knew voice, I could tell you what that thing was, but she's, I think in the headspace, right? Where you go into your headspace, but she's like, "I don't have to correct that. Like you can transition from the lower to the higher without having to make a correction there." And so I thought that was brilliant. And then this last week or last couple weeks, she's been doing this exercise. And I'm trying to remember the name. I think she calls them like witch cackles. And you literally like pull your tongue all the way out and start like saying things, the words, while your tongue is out. And it's an interesting thing because when you remove your tongue out of the equation, it tricks your brain into being able to strengthen the vocal cords, because with your tongue kind of in the way, your brain actually doesn't want it. It actually goes into that, we want to go have the less amount of pain or the things that aren't going to make it. Our body wants to be comfortable, right? And so your body, if you keep your tongue where it needs to go, won't learn to strengthen your muscles like it needs to. So if you pull the tongue out, it like tricks your brain. I don't know if I'm explaining it just right, but it tricks your brain into what it needs to do to become a better singer and get stronger. And so I thought about this because this last week I went to an Unlock the Secrets event by Russell Brunson, and there was a hypnotist there, and I could never be hypnotized because I spend my whole life trying to control my habits and emotions and my things. So, but regardless, it was a fascinating experience because in a trance state, he can control what people do. And but then he actually spoke afterwards, and he's like, "Unfortunately, when we are not in a trance, I can't just, hypnotize you into being able to speak really well on stage," or, because he was actually got this girl to speak very confidently without any fear on stage while she was in a trance. I thought, man, if we could have that, how awesome would that be? But unfortunately, that's not the way it works. So then Russell Brunson, the first day, actually spoke about the conscious brain, the subconscious, and kind of how we have to start changing our habits and how we need to almost create a better hypnotic rhythm, and how 2% of people are faith driven, like they can kind of get out of their own way and make decisions. And then about 98% of the world is fear driven. And it was interesting because he actually went more into the psychology of it. He actually talked about like the monkeys on the front part of our brain are saying, "Hey, we should go and do this thing and this thing." And the monkeys are around emotion and logic, right? They're trying to get us to go and do things. Like for instance, me coming to this video shoot, the monkeys in the front of my brain were super excited. They're like, "Oh, I'm so, like logically, this is gonna be so great for my business. And emotionally, I'm really excited about it. Like this is fun, let's go do this." And then as I was driving here, I could feel in the back part of my brain, the fear, like that's where your fear is in the back part of your brain. And it was saying, "No, don't go do it. This is scary." And we start having all these things that we're telling ourselves, that the false beliefs that we tell ourselves, that we're not good enough, or you can't do this, or I'm gonna freeze on camera. And I'm like, my back part of my brain's giving me all this fear that I have, right? And fear is natural, right? It's when you're a baby, that's what teaches you to not want to fall, or to, like when you hear a loud noise, how it makes a baby jump. Like those are all like intrinsic things that are part of our fear part of our brain. And then you have like the main part of your brain, which is like around your subconscious state. And Russell compared it to the monkeys are in the front, the lizards in the back, and then the middle of the brain is like the elephant. And you need to train the elephant, your subconscious brain, to be able to do the things that you need to do. Because it's in the subconscious, that we can drive a car from point A to point B without realizing that we're doing that. And so if we can develop our subconscious, and train the habits of our subconscious, like that is when we'll be able to make a big difference in our lives, in ourselves, and in our businesses. So as Russell says, you want to calm the lizard, you want to kind of guide the elephant where you want to go, and you want to get the monkeys where they want to go, right? Because they're focused. They're saying, hey, I want to go there. So you want to guide this elephant to get them to lead you where you want to go. And so I've been trying to be more conscious of my subconscious, if that makes sense. And it was interesting, like even the drive over here, as I was knowing I was going to do this video, I was paying attention to my brain, and you can actually feel the different parts of the brain working. Like when you have fear or when you're excited about something, the front part again is around logic and emotion, right? You're excited about something. These are the things that give you that faith to move forward. But the problem is people don't usually work through the things that they need to do in their subconscious, the things that are pulling them down, or the beliefs, the nasty things in the back that are keeping you from believing in yourself. And an interesting thing has happened to me over these last few months. I've joined Russell Brunson's inner circle. That's why I talk about him a lot, because I'm involved with a lot of entrepreneurs in that space. And it was an interesting thing because even if I got nothing else out of the program, other than this one thing, it'd be worth it. And that is my belief changed. Because what happens when you go and mingle with other people that are more successful than you, or people that are at your level, like you kind of rise up to them, and they don't question your success, right? They don't say, well, they aren't questioning all these things. They give you credibility right out of the gate. And it's an interesting thing. And then I had some close friends that spoke on the stage at Unlock the Secrets, and it was interesting because they told me afterwards that all these people were coming to them and talking to them, and how, all of a sudden you're somebody. Just because you got on stage, people look at you as somebody. And it's an interesting thing because no matter who you are, no matter how successful you are, no matter how big you are, we all have these false beliefs, these things we're telling ourselves. And so really the biggest thing, probably the biggest habit that I would say to break is figure out how to believe in yourself. You have to actually you hear the word fake it till you make it. I really hate that phrase. But you really have to say, I am this person, and you can go and take action doing that thing as if you believe it. And then it starts to come to fruition. Okay, so next we're going to talk about the bad habits that we make specifically in business. But before I do that, if you want to see more of videos like this, go ahead and like and subscribe to this video, go and ring the bell, and you'll see more of me. Okay, so one of the big things I see is that businesses think that they're farther along than they are. And they live behind the chaos of their business, just kind of literally they live in the chaos. And I see that happening all the time, where they get scared to move to that next level. They don't believe that, hey, I can go to that next level. And one of the ways you can get through that is actually being real and honest with where you're at and what it takes to get to that next phase. When you have real data that you're working off, when you're intrinsically looking at yourself, and am I a good leader? Am I doing the things that I need to do? I always say your business is only as good as you. Like, you have to work on yourself as an individual. Another bad habit I see people do is trying to scale before they've validated a product. If you haven't gone and tested it and gotten, your first 10 ideal customers, and so they want to go and dump a ton into marketing before they've even validated what they have. So here's my final tip to leave with you, is to find one person that you can hang out with that is farther along than you in your journey. Because something amazing happens when you go and hang out with people that are more successful than you, however you define success, right? Is go hang out with those people, because you're going to realize that there's not as big of a spread from where they are to where you are. We're still people, we're still dealing with a lot of the same things. They just figured out how to kind of correct a lot of the bad habits that they had to get to where they are. And so when you hang out with somebody like that, the two things will happen. You'll either say, I'm not worthy, and you'll go retract and probably not be friends with them, or you'll level up and you'll change the things that you need to change. And you'll raise your bar and realize that you can be more than you thought was possible. There's that saying that you're kind of the collective of the 5 people you hang out with. And I think that's super true. I've had to cut off relationships in my life that are family. They were bringing me down from that. I couldn't progress as a person with the toxicity in my life. And so I've had to cut off friendships and family relationships because of it. So if you want to learn more about the bad habits that we do at the different phases of our business, I'm actually putting on a clinic You can go to stressfreesupergrowth.com, where I'll be talking about the different phases of business, the things that we need to make sure we're doing in each phase, and also the roadblocks that we have to be aware of and the speed bumps that might be coming ahead of us, so that we can avoid those. So again, if you want to hear more about that, go to stressfreesupergrowth.com.